right, guys, welcome back to another video. Huge announcement from Xbox, something that, interestingly enough, I talked about already this week, thinking that it was going to be coming soon or hoping it was going to be coming soon. And little did I know it was going to be happening as fast as yesterday, which is cloud streaming for the games that you own are now going to be available on Xbox. We're starting with the rollout of that. We have the Stalker 2 reviews that are out, and we'll talk a little bit about that game, how it's doing. Is it meeting people's expectations and performance on Xbox and everything? And an update from the acquisition talk that we have seen and heard about, which is Sony trying to purchase Katakawa, which would also include a major share of From Software. So we'll talk about all of that, plus some other interesting things with some layoffs and some games that are part of the entire culture wars side of things, not doing as well as I think people would have expected, especially for how big of a release game like Dragon Age the Veilguard was, and that plus another thing there. So we'll talk about that plus other things. If you do enjoy daily gaming news and content, make sure to hit that subscribe, share the video, all of that stuff. But let's jump right into the news here, talking about the biggest update with Xbox, their ecosystem, and cloud gaming. So I think it was in yesterday's show, actually, I was thinking to myself, I really hope this announcement is sooner rather than later, as Phil Spencer has been saying that it should be coming soon. They are getting ready to roll this out. We have seen already some kind of leaks of games that were available via cloud streaming that weren't a part of Xbox Game Pass. They were games that were owned within your library. And now we have the official announcement. Now, this is just the beginning. They are obviously going to be bringing a lot more to this feature, and it is a great feature. It is setting themselves up for literally Xbox everywhere. Although that was already available with Game Pass, one thing that was definitely holding it back was if you're somebody like me who owns an Xbox, who owns multiple Xboxes and buys a lot of content on that platform, not being able to take that with you on the go is something that held it back. And now it seems like they are addressing that, which is a great thing to see. It coincides as well with their whole marketing campaign. So this announcement does make complete sense. But here it is: stream your own games with Xbox Cloud Gaming. So if you go to xbox.com/play, go to the cloud gaming feature, there is a new part there that shows up and says stream the games that you own. And it gives you the list of games, and it gives you a little check mark if you own that game. You can click on it, and then you can go in there and you can stream the games that you do own. They say, starting today, I'm excited to announce that we're allowing Game Pass Ultimate members to stream select games they own through TVs and browsers on supported devices like smartphones, PCs, and tablets in all 28 countries where Xbox Cloud Gaming is available. And this is just the beginning. Next year, we're excited to bring this feature to Xbox consoles and the Xbox app on Windows. So right now it isn't on your PC, but if you're on a high-powered PC or a PC that can play games, you're probably downloading those games anyways. But at the end of the day, it is going to be going there in the future. Now, it is starting off with just 50 games that are available today, with more to come in the future. Who knows how often they're going to be announcing these, but I'm hoping that it is relatively often as they continue to roll this out. Here are the 50 games that you're going to be able to play. I guess I'll quickly read through them. Animal Well, Assassin's Creed Mirage, Avatar Frontiers of Pandora, Balatro, Baldur's Gate 3, Banishers Ghosts of New Eden, Call of Duty Modern Warfare 2, The Casting of Frank Stone, Cyberpunk 2077, Dragon Quest 3 HD 2D Remake, which is a game that just launched, and that was a Play Anywhere title. I love when publishers add that feature into their games. Dredge, Dying Light 2 Stay Human, Farming Simulator 25, Fear the Spotlight, Final Fantasy 14 Online, Final Fantasy 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, all those are available. Hades, Harry Potter, Quidditch Champions, High on Life, Hitman World of Assassination, Hogwarts Legacy, House Flipper 2, Kenna Bridge of Spirits, Lego Harry Potter Collection, Life is Strange Double Exposure, Metro Exodus, Mortal Kombat 1, NBA 2K25, PGA Tour 2K23, Phasmophobia, Prince of Persia: The Lost Crown, Rust Console Edition, 7 Days to Die, Star Wars Outlaws, Stray, The Crew Motorfest, The Outlaws Trials, The Plucky Squire, The Witcher 3 Wild Hunt, Tom Clancy's Division 2, Topspin 2K25, Undertale, Visions of Mana, Warhammer 40,000 Space Marine 2, and WWE 2K24. So those are the 50 games. One thing that definitely stands out here is there are certain companies that are absolutely partaking in this more than others. I mean, you look at all of the Ubisoft games that are available on here. You see all the 2K games and all the Square Enix games that are available on there. Those are publishers that are full throttle into the Xbox ecosystem and wanting to have their games available on any devices. They probably are buying into the whole thing here, where Xbox Anywhere will mean more people are going to be able to pick up and play their games, whether they own the hardware or not, which just means more money for them. So Very cool stuff there. 50 games. I can't wait to try it out. I own a bunch of these games already, so I will definitely be checking out this new stream your own game feature that is available to Game Pass. And I can't wait to see them continue to expand it to at certain points in the future. Hopefully, it is going to be basically everything that you own. Majority of things that you own, they will be able to be streamed via Xbox Cloud Gaming, especially if you're out away from your home and you don't want to sit there and wait for a game to download, maybe on a slightly slower network or something. Just cloud streaming it on the go, it would just be awesome when owning that game. So great stuff there. Very, very excited about this feature continuing to expand out. Now, yesterday we talked about a major acquisition that could be taking place. That is Sony trying to acquire Kadokawa, which comes with From Software and all of these Souls games, Elden Ring, massive, massive games that sell millions and millions of copies and are growing even more than they have in the past, because especially with Elden Ring, that pushed that style of game out to way more people who hadn't played Souls-like games before, and they're at the top right now of their game overall with From Software. So this acquisition will be massive if it did happen. The reports are coming out via Reuters and some other major publications, but there was no real confirmation as to whether these talks were happening, and now it looks like it is happening. Kadokawa confirms that Sony has approached them in order to purchase them. And here is exactly what they say. From Software's parent company, Kadokawa, has confirmed Sony's intent to acquire the company. This is the full statement. They say, there are some articles on the acquisition of Kadokawa Corporation by Sony Group. However, this information is not announced by the company. The company has received an initial letter of intent to acquire the company's shares, but no decision has been made at this time. If there are any facts that should be announced in the future, we will make an announcement in a timely and appropriate manner. So basically, they're just saying Sony approached them. They're looking at the letter of intent. They're looking at the offer to purchase their shares, and they're going to consider it. And this sounds like it could absolutely happen right now, as they have said that they are looking at this deal. And then we'll see in the future if they do make that big announcement that Sony has acquired them. This is a big play for Sony. I think it's an anime play first and foremost, and then it's also the From Software play as well for Sony to be able to have just more massive games in their first party lineup. It's funny because people always touted PlayStation as organic, and they build everything up from the ground up organically, but the industry has changed. And when you have Microsoft out there making massive acquisitions like Activision Blizzard, where they get a game like Call of Duty, these other major players have to make these moves if basically they want to keep up and continue to compete going forward, by being able to bring in tons of revenue to help continue to develop their first party games. And I think From Software absolutely would be a massive win for Sony themselves. Would it be a big win for the gaming industry? I mean, that is yet to be foreseen. We've seen acquisitions not pan out perfectly. You look at the Bungie acquisition, you look at Firesprite, which they just basically closed off, and the failure of Concord and everything. So it may end up going in that direction, but you'd have to assume with the powerhouse names that From Software has, the powerhouse games that they have, it would be a pretty easy cash in for PlayStation to be able to get a positive outcome from this acquisition. So we'll see if it happens there. But as of right now, if you take a look at their actual stake in it, Kadokawa owns 70% stake in From Software, and Sony has a 14% share in From Software, but you roll all that up, they have about a 2% stake in Kadokawa, so they're looking to buy it all. But this would also mean here that the other gaming titans like Tencent also own a piece of the company. So it would be very interesting, those working relationships going forward, if this acquisition does end up going through. So obviously we will keep our eye on that, see if anything does change. Once there's more information, I'm sure it will come out. I wonder how fast this will move, because when we heard about the Activision Blizzard acquisition, that thing moved very fast. I believe it was in November where they decided to start looking at this acquisition. Then it was announced just a few short months later. So I wonder if that's going to be something similar. We're in November. They send the letter of intent. Are they going to be announcing it maybe before the next fiscal or something like that, to let people know that this is going to be happening? So very interesting stuff there. Now, as we know, Stalker 2 is out, and this is a huge game, console exclusive to Xbox, also on PC. But the major thing here is obviously it's a day one Xbox Game Pass game that's going to draw in a lot of people who are fans of this game. Stalker is a game where I think it had more of a niche fan base for the first ones. Stalker 2 is its attempt to kind of open that up to more people, because a lot more people are talking about it and knowing about it. Now the reviews are out, and it is not looking as great as some people I think were expecting it. It sounds great in many different ways, but one of the main things holding this game back right now are technical issues, which Not too much of a surprise when you think and look at everything that the developers have had to go through with the development of this game. It's already been delayed, I believe, multiple times. I feel like we were at a point now where they had to get it out there. They had to push it out there. They couldn't keep it from releasing, and they're going to continue to obviously make it better as it goes forward here in the next year or so, or however long they're going to continue to be working on it. But right now it's sitting at a 74 on Metacritic, and many of the reviews, I mean, the reviews that I trust, like ACG, the Skill Up as well, is basically there's so much good about this game, but there are some major technical issues that are holding it back, and it can't be recommended because of those technical issues, basically telling people just to wait until those all get fixed. And GSC Game World themselves have even acknowledged these technical issues. They put this message out, and they talk about being thankful for support and being able to, and how crazy this development story has been because of everything that's happened with the developer. But they're happy to have this game out. But they ended off here saying, nevertheless, Stalker 2 is a massive game. We understand that in such a game, there will be rough edges. We literally haven't released anything of this scale before. We're absolutely committed to being here, monitoring your feedback and quickly fixing any issues that need our attention. In the first days after release, we'll be working with hot fixes, rolling them out as precisely as possible, but as frequently as we can. Then we'll switch to larger updates that include constant improvements. There will be also free in-game content. We'll share its roadmap later in December. We have big plans for the Stalker universe. In a way, today is both a return and the beginning of a grand new journey. We're blessed to have you before. We're blessed to have you now. The zone belongs to you. Have fun. So that's where it is right now. It's a Stalker game. If you're a fan of Stalker, you're probably going to really enjoy it. It is like a survival hardcore style of game. There are technical issues that need to be worked out, and once those work out, it should be even better than it is now. But 74 on Metacritic isn't terrible. Some people are giving it 8s, some 9s, some 7s, some 6s, some lower scores that are bringing it down there. I'm definitely trying this one out. It's Game Pass. I'm going to download it. I'm going to play it. And I'm excited to jump in and play Stalker 2. I have never played the first game, so it may be one of those games that isn't for me. But from what we have seen leading up to it, it looks absolutely phenomenal. So I am excited to jump in and play this game. Now, when we talk about acquisitions, I mean, we talk about From Software and Sony recently. Obviously, a major acquisition was Activision Blizzard. And with Activision Blizzard, there are a lot of games under them with licenses that they could be putting out and bringing back. And it looks like we may be getting some of these coming back, which would be phenomenal. Hopefully, these are games that are going to be coming to Xbox, maybe Game Pass, streaming as well, everything, if you own it, all that type of stuff. This is a post here that's been put out saying, rumor, multiple licensed Activision titles had their Steam databases updated 5 days ago. Marvel Ultimate Alliance 1 and 2, Deadpool, which I really hope that one does come out, because this is a game that, it's, in my opinion, a mediocre game. It wasn't like a great game when it came out, but it's shot up in price because it's hard to get now. It's harder to get, and the price, if you want to go pick up a physical version of it, I think it's like somewhere over like $100. At least where I am, people are trying to sell it for $100, $150, which is crazy. So I hope this does happen, so then they can bring those physical prices down. You have Spider-Man Shattered Dimensions, which I also think is pretty expensive. And then Transformers Devastation, Transformers War of Cybertron, Transformers Wall of Cybertron. They say if you go to Steam database, you'll see an update history. And these have all been in the rumors multiple times over the past year. So I feel like there is something here, something to do with Xbox getting these games being able to be put back out there, probably some sort of Xbox Game Pass release, which would just be absolutely phenomenal to see. They're great games. I own a few of them already in physical version, so I really hope that these do end up dropping backwards compatibility, all of that stuff. Maybe we get some upgrades to it. That would be super cool to see. I hope this isn't just something that continues to be a rumor, and in the future, these actually do drop. All right, and we'll finish off here with a couple of more things. Got some updates here. This game, I don't know anything really about it, but I did see it in the culture wars of video games where it was woke and people were saying it was going to fail, and it is failing. This is Reflector Entertainment's, what is the game called here? Unknown 9 Awakening with Layoffs. They say here, The changes resulting from this transition are necessary for us to efficiently deliver on our most pressing objectives while guaranteeing that every member of our team can meaningfully contribute to our ongoing projects. And it says, with the recent release of Unknown Nine Awakening and our 2 key production lines entering the early stages of development, we must make sure that our staff is laser focused on contributing to the projects that wholly benefit from their skill sets. As such, we are reducing our team by approximately 18% of Reflector's total workforce, a decision that impacts people who aren't assigned to the roles that our active projects require. So there are layoffs. I don't think this game sold well at all. It was published by Bandai Namco, came out on October 18th. I saw nobody talking about it aside from the whole culture wars thing, which is like, if they weren't bringing it up in the culture wars, would anybody even really know about this game? That is the question I have. I feel like the culture wars actually brought more attention to it. It would probably pushed a bit more sales than they would have even gotten, because this game didn't really land on anybody's radar, and now there are layoffs, which is not surprising. And the other one here, which was obviously a huge topic of discussion when it launched, was Dragon Age, the Veilguard. And obviously the discussion had to do with, is this game bringing BioWare back to prominence? People were on both sides of the fence here. Some people thought it was terrible, especially in the writing, and they recommended not playing it. Other people loved it. From what I understand, the gameplay is good. I have it. I got to still jump in and play it at some point. But I don't think the sales on this one are meeting the expectations that BioWare and EA are expecting. At first, I thought it was big when we were seeing the Steam numbers, but comparatively, when you look at other games in their total peak on Steam, it didn't do that great. It is looking like, and we have some more information here. This is from Christopher Drink saying Dragon Age: The Veilguard was the 7th best-selling game across Europe in October, so not in the top 5 or anything. Not the biggest launch, however, compared with other recent RPGs, first week sales were over 18% lower than Dragon's Dogma 2 and nearly 21% below Final Fantasy VII Rebirth. And you'd absolutely be comparing these types of releases. Which one is selling better? If you're BioWare, you're looking at your competition, and it is not doing as well. So I wonder what the story is going to be when EA does announce how this game did, and the financials, when they talk to the investors and everything. That's where you kind of get a lot of information as to whether games met expectations. I wonder if this is enough for them to be able to go out there and make another Dragon Age, or have BioWare continue to make some more games. BioWare, again, this was a game that a lot of fans needed to be very good to get faith back into BioWare. I think some people do, but there's a lot of people you could see online that just weren't a fan of the entire style of game that they went with the writing, the narrative, and the characters. And finally, as we know, Square Enix, they are moving away from exclusivity deals. They're going full multi-platform, and their just strategy is expanding upon everything, even mobile gaming, as they have announced here. The Final Fantasy 14 is going mobile. And there's a lot of people questioning this, especially if they're big Final Fantasy 14 fans, asking why invest all these resources into a mobile version of the game. But they are doing it, and I think it would probably do very well on mobile if people can just pick up and go in there and complete quests on the go. They say this was announced by producer Naoki Yoshida. The game is being developed by Tencent-owned Lightspeed Studios, the studio who developed PUBG Mobile. And he says here, during this announcement video, despite the adjustments, Lightspeed Studios is working with tremendous enthusiasm and dedication to faithfully recreate the story, duties, battle content, and other aspects of the game, and it will launch with 9 of the main game's jobs, and I believe they will be eventually adding in the other jobs after that. So if you're a fan of Final Fantasy 14, it is now going to be coming out on mobile. I don't believe they have a release date here, but I'm sure it will be coming out relatively. So if you go to the end of the trailer, yeah, there's no release date here on Final Fantasy 14 mobile. But I'll end the video there, guys. If you did enjoy this video, make sure to hit that thumbs up. Make sure you subscribe if you're new here. Share this video around, all that great stuff. Thank you for watching, and I'll catch you guys in the next video. Bye.